Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the EKN Debrief here on the EKN Radio Network. My name is Rob Howden. It is June the 26th, 2019, and it's not really, David Cole, just any old debrief. This is number 50. It's kind of a milestone, don't you think? It's like an anniversary.
So what'd you get me?
You know what? I got you a gift certificate to In-N-Out hamburgers.
Oh, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
It just keeps on giving. Again, folks, thank you so much for tuning into the EKN Radio Network. We hope that you've downloaded the EKN Radio Network app for your mobile device. Otherwise, you can always listen to the radio network on the website itself, ecardynews.com/radio. This particular edition of the debrief, as I said, episode number 50. David Cole would be quarterbacking this one as he was back-to-back weekends in North Carolina. Of course, we wrapped up the USPKS event with the debrief last week. David actually was just down at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Charlotte Motor Speedway Karting Challenge, the WK event, Manufacturers Cup, road racing, and dirt, all taken to the Charlotte Karting Challenge right at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. This particular show, folks, let's start with this, presented by Kart Republic. The Kart Republic is here, and it's disturbing the status quo. Kartsport North America is the country's importer and distributor for the Kart Republic chassis, and as a leader in American karting, they're focused on providing stability for the sport and quality products and service for the community. The Kart Republic senior and junior chassis are on fire, and so is the new mini kart, which has already won in SCUSA, USPKS, and WKA competition. For more information, contact Kartsport North America, where they offer top quality products, winning brands, and professional driver development services. All right, David Cole, as we do with each and every one of our debrief podcasts, you get things underway. Let's start up with the overview of the 2019 WK Charlotte Motor Speedway Karting Challenge.
Well, this was the first time back for the Manufacturers Cup Series 2 inside the Charlotte Motor Speedway since 2009. This was really the first time ever that we had all three programs, including the road race and the dirt speedway dirt program running also. So we had road racing using part of the Roval, a shortened Roval course, with the dirt speedway program inside the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is across the street next to the ZMAX drag raceway. So it was very interesting, but the Man Cup, rather than running on the kart track that's inside turns 3 and 4, ran on a part of the Roval course, which provided a very fast, lightning fast track inside the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Interesting for sure. You know, you go back to the old days. We talk a lot about the fact that there was the North American Karting Championships were held at Charlotte. Like as soon as they did announce a return, of course, everybody going back in the memory books and thinking about the old NAKC with the Formula A and Super A, the 1998 Formula C World Championships were held there. Of course, the road racing guys on the big track. And as you said, the first time the dirt has been here, because back then in the mid-90s, there was actually a pavement oval component out in the pavement oval in the back. It used to be called Outback Raceway. I'm not sure if it still is. Plus, they had the Briggs & Stratton 300 on the front straightaway using the track that they used for the Bandoleros and the Legend cars. So, yeah, getting back to Charlotte, kind of cool. Dave, do you want to start talking now about the comments of the track itself? You want to wait for that for Paddock Pass?
We'll get into that in Paddock Pass. But I believe that track, it's now paved again. It had to repave the outside the backstretch. I believe they turned it into dirt for a little while as well, too. So I'm not sure if they had some dirt carts there for a while. But again, it's karting has been basically absent from the Charlotte Motor Speedway for nearly 10 years until we brought it back this past weekend.
Well, great to see it back, of course, and not surprising. We saw a little bit of rain as well because David Cole was there, so it's going to rain a bit.
Yeah. Luckily, I got through the United States Pro Kart Series event at Mooresville without any rain, which is typically shocking. But, talking to a lot of people that are from the Charlotte area, it's very typical for it to be like Hawaii, where it'll rain for 15 minutes and go away. Okay. So Thursday we had a strong storm move in just as move in into the racetrack was wrapping up. So I sat in my car and braved the elements for about 10 minutes in there with some strong winds and some heavy rain coming down. And then again, Saturday, just as we were completing the third of the 8 main events, we had another storm cell roll through and put down a lot of rain, and lightning was really the main cause for the reason they canceled the rest of the main events the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's been a thing, not just the rain, but it's been the lightning. All the races we've been to, it's just we've been worried about that lightning coming in, which is interesting because you got to shut things down, which is tough.
Well, especially at Charlotte Motor Speedway where, for whatever, however their liability issues are, but they shut everything down, as we see in NASCAR events, they'll empty out the grandstands anytime there's lightning in the area. So it's kind of the similar situation where everything gets shut down and everything gets put on lockdown until, there's like a 10 or 15 mile radius of no lightning in the area. And then you got to wait another half hour.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, folks, let's get into it here. This is episode number 50, a special edition, I guess, of the EKN Debrief. Rob Howden and David Cole. David giving us his review of the 2019 WKA Charlotte Karting Challenge at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. David, let's cap off this overview with a look at the numbers. What do we get for numbers for the Man Cup component of this race?
Well, 85 was the total for the weekend. It was obviously up from the SeaTech Motorplex at Road America. So it was up there, a little bit down from what we saw at Mooresville in March, but it's a start. Obviously, we're at a busy time of the year. We had the USBKS race the weekend before, so some people did do the double duty and race both weekends. Actually, really, a lot of the same people who were at Charlotte Motor Speedway were already at Mooresville the week before. So, a lot of people going back to back. Largest category of the weekend was the Bricks 206 Cadet Division with 17. K100 Senior had 14. Then you throw in Kid Kart with 13, as well as Mini Swift at 13. So those were the big categories of the weekend. Miami Senior and Junior struggled with only 4 in Junior and 5 in tough. Senior.
That's definitely tough. And Dave, what do you talk to a lot of people. What do you attribute that to? Just number one, the amount of racing that's going on, and maybe number two, with Man Cup wide, just the amount of events. Like you and I keep talking about 3 kind of being that magic number. WK Man Cup was 6 this year. Is it just too many races, or what is it?
Well, there's a number of elements that I think we'll get into a little bit more in the paddock, but paddock pass of our broadcast or our show here. But number of races has a lot to do with it. As we talked about, why the USPKS is so strong this year is less is more. They have only 3 weekends that you have to commit to. And if you want to commit to WKA, you got to commit to 6 because, they're only going to count the best, really you got 12 rounds of racing if you look at it overall, and they're going to count 8. And so you want to make sure you're at least at 10. So you have a couple rounds to buffer in case you have some mess up. So it really, what it boils down to is number of events throughout the season.
There it is. Well, that's something we're going to be talking about a lot probably throughout the season, folks, and maybe into the off season as well. But again, we are underway. Our first component here of this particular edition of the EKN Debrief. David Cole giving us the overview. After this particular break, we'll come back. David's got lots more to come here in the Paddock Pass. Are you in need of a podium-proven Briggs 206 chassis? If you answered yes, check out the 2019 Margay Ignite K3 and Brava 206 packages manufactured in St. Louis, Missouri, right here in the USA. The Margay chassis have been racking up 206 podiums on the club and regional level, most recently at big 4-stroke programs such as the AMR Homestead Miami Speedway, Texas Pro Kart Challenge, Texas Sprint Racing Series, Atlanta Motorsports Park, and the Gateway Kartplex. The best part about purchasing a Margay Racing chassis is that everything can be ordered custom, including frame color, decal color, and logo placement. Choose to purchase as a roller, kit, or race ready. With a race ready package, just unbox the cart, add gas, oil, and go. Need factory support? Margay Racing is just a call or email away with technical support or setup tips. Interested in renting a kart at one of the biggest events of the summer? Check out Margay Racing's Spec Ignite class and Arrive and Drive packages. Upcoming events include the historic Quincy Grand Prix Street Race on June 8th and 9th, and the USAC Karting Battle at the Brickyard on July 5th, 6th, and 7th. For more information, please visit margay.com or call 800-562-7429 today. The shift is on to a new brand and a new way of thinking. Mad Old Nut Racing and Croc Promotion USA are focused on changing the paradigm when it comes to race teams in this sport. And the goal is to support dedicated young racers by giving them the tools and opportunities to succeed. Originally born as Mad Croc, the new branding is Croc Promotion, and Armando Fellini's product continues its dedication to quality and innovation. Croc Promotion USA is the American importer and distributor, and Mad Old Nut Racing is the official race team. We're ready to attack in 2019, and our race results speak for themselves. AJ Myers swept the first 4 Winter Series shifter kart races of the year, and Andrew Bedozzo continues to assert himself as an emerging player. Croc Promotion has momentum. Dedicated and talented young drivers, supported and mentored by team owners who know business and who are passionate about karting. That's Croc Promotion USA. That's Mad Old Nut Racing. Search for us on social media and give us a follow. In a sport where the difference between winning and losing is measured in hundredths of a second, you can't afford to leave anything on the table. You invest in the best equipment, the latest components, and top-of-the-line data acquisition systems. Anything to find one more tenth, right? I'll tell you right now, the best investment you could ever make is in yourself. If you want to improve your results, it's time for professional instruction and coaching at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. Located at the new state-of-the-art Speed Sports Racing Park just north of Houston, the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy uses the very best equipment, Burrell Art Karts. They offer half-day, 1-day, 2-day, and 3-day clinics. They have a one-on-one student-to-instructor ratio, and they will design a customized curriculum for each student. Alan Rudolph is one of the most respected people in the sport, and he has nearly 20 years' experience training drivers, including Chase Elliott, Neil Alberico, Austin Versteeg, and Sabre Cook, and rising stars like Pietro Fittipaldi. Train with a champion with over 30 years of racing experience to get proven results. Start off your season with a driver tune-up. Tune up your season with some driver coaching. Or get ready for the big races by training with the best. Reserve your dates now by calling 866-607-RACE. That's 866-607-7223. For more information, visit speedsportsracingpark.com/racing-academy. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole. Our debrief of the WK Manufacturers Cup events at the Charlotte Karting Challenge happened last weekend down in Concord, North Carolina. This edition of the Paddock Pass, which is up next, is presented by the Rawlson Performance Group. At the Rawlson Performance Group, we strive for ultimate success. We're more than just an arrive and drive race team with countless wins on the national and regional level. Our focus is on complete driver development, and that's where the success is fueled. We combine one-on-one coaching, on-track instruction, and intensive data debriefing with unparalleled kart and engine prep. Our program will raise your game. We'll take you to the next level. If that's your goal, RPG needs to be your next move. All right, David, we're into the Paddock Pass right now. Based on the notes you've given me, lots to talk about, of course. Not just one event, even though we're kind of focusing here on the Manufacturers Cup on the sprint circuit. You talked about the dirt events, you talked about the road course. Lots for you to roll out here in the Paddock Pass.
There's definitely a lot of racing going on throughout the weekend. As you said, 3 different programs racing at one event. I'll start with the dirt. I didn't get a chance to go over there and check things out. Friday, they wrapped up by 8:30, and so I wasn't quite out of the inside of the Charlotte Motor Speedway because we didn't get done on track till about 6:30. So 7 o'clock got wrapped up with putting away my equipment and computer and all that stuff, and then decided, I had to go out and talk to some people. And then by the time I realized it was 8:30, I looked at Race Monitor and they're already done for the day. So I was hoping to see they were going to go into at least 10 o'clock because that was kind of the rumored ending point for the night. So I thought I was going to at least get an hour of racing, but didn't happen that way. And then, as we said, Saturday we had that storm roll through. Well, the dirt guys, I guess, the water kind of helps, the track out a little bit. It was soaked right in. And as soon as the sun came back out after they had called everything at the sprint track, I had no idea, but they had restarted the racing program at the dirt track. So they were able to get everything in Saturday night and not have to either call it or move it over to Sunday. But I was told that there were over 600 entries for the weekend in 19 classes on each day. A lot of compliments regarding the racetrack. A lot of people have said that they didn't think WK was going to be able to put a good track inside that dirt track because, again, they didn't run the full size. It was a little bit shortened, obviously. Basically, you're running on the apron, and they even shortened it up a little bit more than what the apron really is there at the dirt track that we see the World of Outlaws and other dirt programs run. So, there was still some questions on if WK was going to be able to pull it off, and I really think they did. And, the Charlotte Motor Speedway got a number of calls from legends and bandoleros and other dirt programs that are kind of really interested now in actually racing inside there that never have before. So okay. A lot of positive momentum going for the dirt program.
All right, let's move to road racing. Obviously, you're a road racer at heart. Good to see them back there. How was the road racing component of the event?
Well, I think you have to start with basically the racetrack, and the track was a portion of what you see the Rollville course that NASCAR utilized. Obviously, with the Manufacturers Cup Series using most of the infield section, the road racing got to use a little bit, and then mostly the oval portions of the Rollville. So one of the major concerns was the entry into the infield section. How they did it, it wasn't technically designed to be done, but obviously with carts you can get away with a little bit more. But it was obviously the left-hand turn to get into the infield, and then it was a tight right-hander to utilize a portion of the infield course. So now that when I say a tight right-hander, I talked to a couple of people and looked at some mile per hour numbers, and we're talking 20 miles an hour. Was the speed. Okay. And you don't typically see that for road racing courses.
No, you do not.
I think the only thing you can come close to was maybe the not Woodbine, but the Windsor race that you had at Stars of Karting, where it was a 180-degree corner and guys were holding the clutch as they went around it.
That's true. Yes, they were.
It was very similar to that, but the problem with that that hairpin it was not, the elevation was a little bit off. So Friday they had a bit of a jump because everybody had it to where they were turning in early, which was basically a transition from one direction of the Roval to another direction. So it was a kind of a big jump, and the lay down guys really, really struggled getting through that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
So after Friday's practice, they lengthened out the apex a little bit more to help smooth it out, but it's still, again, you're talking 25, maybe 20 miles an hour that guys were going through there. So sprint carts, it really wasn't an issue. It was kind of fun to watch them. But for the lay down guys, it was a bit of a struggle.
Interesting. Well, that's the challenge, right? The whole challenge was to be able to find a way to put both the tracks in, the road course for the road racing guys and the sprint track, especially with not being able to use the old actual karting sprint track that they had at the track. That's obviously the biggest challenge they had, I think, going in.
Yeah, and people say that the kart track that's there right now inside turns 3 and 4 is rough. I'll get into that a little bit more, but actually the oval portion was a bit rougher than expected.
Okay.
Talking to some guys that were road racing said the turn 3 and 4 of the NASCAR track was kind of bumpy, and a little bit of the back straight as well too. And I think what it has to deal with is these guys are typically used to Daytona, where the NASCAR guys, they're on the gas 100% around the way. You go to a 1.5 oval track, and the NASCAR guys are diving into the corners, which I think kind of ripple the pavement a little bit over through the bankings. So
yep, makes sense.
So it makes a little sense of why it would be a little bit rougher. So it's just something that guys had to negotiate a little bit more. Another fun fact, and I had no idea about it till I actually went up and took a picture from the pit lane. The infield of the tri-oval section is actually artificial turf. It is not real grass.
Really?
I had no idea. I looked down. I'm like, wait a minute. This looks like a football field.
Dude, maybe you should do that to your house, but in front, it wouldn't have to, you stop cutting grass.
It's a good idea in hindsight, but I get my workouts through the mowing
true.
portion, so the hashtag Beat Rob Howden is in full effect.
Well, it's the only thing you do. It's like you don't do any other workouts. It's just shoveling snow and mowing grass.
Yeah.
That's why you got that fantastic dad bod going.
Let's say Friday, I had 20,000 steps.
Really?
Alone.
That's pretty solid, dude. That's more than me at Road America. I think I was 17,000. That's pretty solid. Good for you.
I think I walked the Manufacturers Cup track twice, and then obviously going through the road racing paddock a number of times and all that other stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of walking on Friday. So I think losing a couple pounds here and there, sweated it out yesterday with the mowing. I think I'm pretty good.
Hey, I'm based on your notes. Too cool to see that the WK inducting another individual into their Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it was I thought it was a joke because I saw Mr. Robbie Harper, I believe it was Sunday, and because I was checking on something with scoring and he mentioned something about, I got inducted to Hall of Fame. I said, you're full of it. Who's going to induct you?
Ouch! Throwing the barbs.
So, he was, I believe, probably during one of their driver meetings, Robbie was presented with the plaque and the induction into the Hall of Fame. Robbie's been a long-time promoter of road racing and long-time supporter of WK and all they've done. So he was joined there by his wife and son, Robbie Harper III, during the ceremony. So that's I believe three people now that have been inducted, maybe four if you count Rick Drzang, Keith Freber, and Terry Trader. So those four people have been inducted thus far in 2019.
All right, what else we got? You want to start talking Man Cup? A little paddock pass action for Man Cup?
Yeah, a little bit. So kind of road race and Man Cup side, the facility was nice enough to open up the portion of the Roval for spectators. It was kind of the highest. It was really the highest point of the Roval. If you've seen the onboard footage and how the track layout is, it's the highest vantage point of the Roval, but also the part that wasn't being used. And it was kind of the connection between the road race and the Man Cup. So everybody got to stand up on that wall in the pavement area to watch both the Manufacturers Cup Series and the road race going on at the same time. So it was a really cool viewing point for a lot of the spectators that were there, especially the parents in the Man Cup side of things. And again, the track was a major concern throughout the weekend. As I said, I walked it a number of times and pointed out certain safety aspects because, again, we're talking about cement walls that are surrounding the area, also guardrails. We wanted to make sure that a number of the guardrails were covered up, but majority of the walls were tire walls, and people kind of confuse that with concrete walls. And I'm like, no, I'd much rather hit a tire wall that is wrapped with some plastic around it than a concrete wall. There's no doubt about that. And I think, the inside walls were a bit of a concern and actually led to a few people electing not to race, including Brent Cruz, one of the junior drivers, and then Brandon Lemke, the points leader in Miami Senior. So,
okay.
Obviously, there were some concerns about it. You look at it again, safety aspects, the Anderson Sertoma Club of Indiana that we know Terry Riggins is part of. They provide the barriers for a number of events throughout the year. WK brought those in to help eliminate some of the safety concerns, to even, protect drivers from going into tire barriers, to rather hit the tech pros first and then the tire barriers after that. So
makes sense.
So WK made sure they brought in enough barriers. I think they could probably brought in more certain areas that might have been a hazardous issue. but thankfully nothing happened or nothing went into that low percentage area. But again, the more barriers you have, I think in a track like that, as we've seen before, is definitely better.
Do you see, Dave, in looking at, obviously, we walked the track a couple times, you watched a full weekend of competition, do you see opportunities to change the track a little bit, make it a little different for next year, or what?
I think the problem with that is the way the cement walls are positioned. Not a lot of them, the ones that weren't able to be moved, kind of hinder the opportunities to change the track itself.
Okay. Yep.
Because it is already 9/10 of a mile long course. There's a parking lot section that was really bumpy, but they did utilize some of it. But in order to use more of it, it would extend the length of the racetrack. So now you're talking probably something where it's going to be like 1.1 or 1.2 miles long, because there's just no way to cut the track down using the portions of the roval that they are actually using.
Well, it's a challenge for sure. Let's talk more about the track itself. I know you got some notes talk about some curbing, direction-wise.
Yeah, because the roval was made for obviously cars and legends and stuff like that. It was made to go in the clockwise direction for the cars, and it's something somebody pointed out to me after the track walk, because it wasn't something I was looking at, because I thought curbs were curbs. They're actually cut, and they're more like a teeth curbs where there's pointy ends to it. And if you go in the opposite direction, which was the direction that the Manufacturers Cup Series went, it's like you're driving over teeth. Big pointy sections of cement sticking up. Obviously, they're painted, so it's very hard to tell that. But you could tell after I was told by somebody, I walked the track a little bit more and noticed that, in certain sections of the track there were these curbs that were not really designed to be driven over by carts. So
interesting. Okay, interesting.
But again, it was a wide track. Some people said, they've torn up some frames because of it. But who's to say it wasn't damaged already? Really, the only way you were on curves that were like that were if you really got offline. Because again, the roval section was very wide track. It was a very wide track.
Okay. Overall, what were the thoughts on the track? In talking to people in the paddock, what was the kind of overall feel for it?
I think the majority were not a big fan of the layout.
Okay.
As we said, we had a number of drivers pull out, a couple from after wrecking, a couple of them just because they thought it was unsafe. But there were still a number of people that enjoyed it, thought it was something different, unique, and had a fun weekend. Obviously, as we know, we've done some road racing before in our past. Yep. You kind of got to approach these tracks a little bit different than you typically would a GoPro or a Newcastle or anything, or even a street course. You got to approach these a little bit different, to where you got to give yourself a little bit of space, a little bit of different approach in race strategy. It's not all about, you get past one corner, hey, take it, you'll get it the next corner. Yeah. Sometimes you don't have to fight things off. And I think one of the main issues was the front straightaway, because a lot of the karts were reaching speeds that none of them had reached before. I think, the minis were up to, nearly 70 miles an hour. Wow. The X30 seniors were probably hitting 80, 85. And obviously KAs were flat out pretty much all around as well too. So it's something that, again, it is very different, unique, and people I don't think they were really ready for it.
Interesting approach. Now, what about the old sprint track? That's the one that I want to kind of ask you about that. Did you get a chance to go have a look at it?
Yeah, I did a little video Friday during lunchtime. Things got a little bit quiet, so I was able to kind of walk around it. I posted a video of my walk around it. The track's still there. It's not race ready, I can tell you that. There are about 3 sections where they tore up the pavement because of drainage. They had to run some drainage pipes. Obviously, they probably had some issues with pooling waters, and also they had the cave-in, what's the word I'm looking for? The sinkhole. They had a sinkhole a couple years ago.
I didn't know that.
That was basically near the turn 1-2 section of the sprint track. So there you see a lot of new asphalt that was laid down a couple of years ago. That was kind of used for paddock area for the Man Cup a little bit. The fencing that kind of outlined the track is no longer there as well too, because there's more pavement over that way.
Okay.
Essentially looking at it, in a positive view, I think if you put down like one layer of asphalt, it'd be ready to go. Okay. There really weren't a lot of gaps in the pavement. There might be some dips from, buses and RVs and all that being parked on it over and over again. But, it's nothing that we haven't been able to race. I was told there's big craters in it, and there was big cracks in the pavement. And you really didn't see that, other than where the pavement was dug up for the drainage. Obviously, it's all stone there. There's no pavement there. So, in all honesty, if there's a way for Charlotte Motor Speedway and WK to get together and find a way to get a new paved track, again, wouldn't have to dig it up. I mean, it's the layout's already there. It would just require a new layer, top layer, and maybe a little bit of extra curbing, and I think it'd be ready to go.
Interesting. I'll see if that's potentially something we see down the line. But again, folks, there's the paddock pass from David Cole as we talk about the 2019 WK Manufacturers Cup Charlotte Motor Speedway Karting Challenge, the return of WK karting to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, the paddock pass brought to you by Rollison Performance Group. Stay with us, folks. When we get back after this break, David's going to work his way through the categories. Time to start with the race report.
Top-level production with a focus on a single form of motorsport, karting. This is MG Tires. MG Tires USA, underneath the Vantage Karting Group banner, is the official distributor of the MG Tires brand for the United States. MG Tires are used as the official spec tire in the United States Pro Kart Series, the Route 66 Sprint Series, the Sunshine State Karting Challenge, and countless clubs across the country. No matter your compound preference, MG Tires USA has you covered. Whether it's the medium HCI Red, the soft FC Yellow, or the super soft Green YZ, MG Tires USA has your winning set of rubber in stock. For more info about MG Tires USA and its extensive list of dealers near you, check out their website at mgtiresusa.com. MG Tires, for the drivers.
In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry with over 50 years of combined karting experience, and we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at franklinkart.com, where all of our products are just a mouse click away and we ship daily. We're constantly adding new products to our online store, so keep checking back. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, and of course, our championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find molecule cleaning products, minus 273 racing gloves, micron gauges and components, and both MG and Bridgestone tires. If you're ready to take your racing to the next level, come and join us at Team FMS. We've been supplying racers with start-to-finish support at race events for many years, from providing a helping hand on a weekday test outing or at a club event, to full arrive and drive packages at the highest level of karting competition. For 2019, we'll be attending the SuperKarts USA Winter Series, WK Manufacturers Cup, United States Pro Kart Series, and the Route 66 Kart Racing Series. And we'd love to have you under our tent at Merlin Nation. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Wheeler from Bell Helmets. Bell Racing USA is now the official helmet of SuperKarts USA. You can find our newest line of products such as the Carbon KC7 CMR, the only carbon fiber built helmet approved with a CMR rating in the entire world during the 2019 season by visiting PSL Karting on site at all SCUSA events. Check us out online, www.bellracing.com, or on social media by following @BellRacingHQ.
Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network. My name's Rob Howden, joined as always by David Cole. The Debrief, episode number 50, as David's breaking down the Charlotte Karting Challenge, the WK event that happened at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now we go into the race report for the Manufacturers Cup event. He'll start going class by class. This race report presented by Margay Racing. Are you interested in renting a kart at one of the biggest karting events this summer? Do you want to be part of the fastest growing race group in the sport? Check out Margay Racing's Spec Ignite class and their Arrive and Drive packages. Upcoming events include the USAC Karting Battle at the Brickyard on July 5th, 6th, and 7th, and the 25th running of the Rock Island Grand Prix on Labor Day weekend. For more information, please visit margay.com or give them a call at 800-562-7429. Give them a call and check out the Arrive and Drive packages for those two events. All right, David Cole, Margay Racing, sponsoring our race report. You are in. Let's get things rolling right now. Let's start with IAME Senior.
Well, as we said, IAME Senior was not one of the most popular categories on the weekend. Basically a 3-driver run throughout the weekend. 4 on Saturday, dropping down to only 3 drivers really taking the track on Sunday. Saturday began with Cade Downs setting fast time in qualifying, but the rest of the weekend was really Matthew Dunkovich. Dunkovich won both heat races on Saturday, and because of the rain cancellation, was awarded the victory. He won over Cade Downs and Logan Cozy. Sunday, Jake Venberg set fast time in qualifying, but he and Dunkovich both pulled off early, which allowed Cozy to win the pre-final. But in the final, it was Dunkovich jumping out to the lead and leading the entire distance, winning over Jake Venberg, with Cozy finishing up in third.
Yeah, tough to hear the numbers there. Hopefully that'll rebound when WK makes some more changes for 2019. Good on those drivers for getting out there and doing some racing. What about IAME Junior?
IAME Junior, another category that was tight on numbers. Basically 4 drivers racing throughout the weekend. Hayden Jones set fast time in qualifying, with he and Tyler Wettengill splitting the heat race wins. This race was the last one to hit the track just before the rains moved in. The main event was cut short by 2 laps with lightning in the area, but it was Tyler Wettengill who was leading when the checkered flag did wave, scoring the victory over Nathan Nicholson, with Hayden Jones finishing in third.
Copy.
On Sunday, Jones set fast time in qualifying and won the pre-final, but a little bit of contact in the final lap of the main event between he and Wettengill shuffled things up. Jones came across the line as the provisional winner, but was penalized 2 positions for the contact, thus handing the win to Nicholson, who ended up scoring the victory over Adam Maxwell, with Jones ending up in third.
All right, so let's go into some of the categories with maybe a couple more drivers now. KA 100 Senior, I believe you said 14 drivers in that one?
Yeah, the KA 100 Senior was a great class to watch all weekend long. It was, as we said, it was very flat out for this category throughout the racetrack. Hard braking zone into turn 2, and then another one through the parking lot. Other than that, it was pretty flat out for these guys. So it was fun to kind of watch these guys negotiate the draft. That's really what it was. It was a chess game between these guys, because again, this engine package is very equal. It's kind of similar to what you see with the Briggs and Stratton categories. Yep. Brick Nachman was the quickest driver in qualifying. She won the opening heat race, but Paulie Massimino came through to win the second heat. And with this class being canceled due to the storm coming through, Massimino was declared the winner, with Brooke Nachman finishing second and Sebastian Rivas placing in third.
So how many? So the rain out, you said 3 of the classes got in, the other 5 did not. Is that what the deal was?
That's correct. And based on the rule book, they went to how the finals were going to be gridded, which was determined by the points gained through the heat races and qualifying. And so that's how those 5 categories were decided who was declared the winner in those 5 categories.
Let's look at Sunday then in K100 Senior.
Well, Sunday began very similar to Saturday with Brooke Nachman out front. She set fast time in qualifying and was able to win the pre-final, but the final was probably one of the best races that we had all weekend long, with nearly a lead change every lap. Again, a very fast track, and it was all who was going to lead at the end, because it was all about positioning yourself in the draft to be able to grab that lead. And it ended up being Sebastian Rivas, who put himself into the lead as the white flag waved and was able to hold off Alexander Kardashian on the final lap to score his first series victory. Brooke Nachman ending up in the 3rd position.
To cap off this particular segment of the Race Report, brought to you by Margay Racing, David, let's jump into the KA100 Junior Class 9 racers, I believe, on the grid.
Again, a pretty good group of drivers. Lead pack was anywhere between 3 to 5 to 7 drivers at any time. Saturday began with Sam Corey setting fast time in qualifying, but Tyler Wettengel swept both heat races, and because of the rain out, was declared the class winner. He took the top spot of the podium, joined by Hayden Jones in 2nd, and then Corey in the 3rd position.
How about Sunday?
Sunday. Sunday began with Adam Maxwell setting fast time, with Jones ending up winning the pre-final. And then as the final went on early on, it was Wettengel battling with Jones for the lead, but a broken bumper and a meatball flag pulled him off the race course. That left Jones and Maxwell to kind of battle it out for the victory, with Maxwell able to secure the lead and the victory in the final lap to score the victory over Jones, with Weston Workman sitting there right there in 3rd.
First 4 categories of the Race Report of the WK Charlotte Karting Challenge, the Manufacturers Cup event that was part of that 3-series event in Charlotte, in Concord, North Carolina, actually. Got 4 classes done. After this break, David's going to come back with Mini Swift, Micro Swift, Briggs 206 Cadet, and Kid Kart. Are you ready to go racing? Trinity Karting Group is fired up and ready to take up that challenge. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives them access to their custom-designed driver training facility. This allows them to offer private one-on-one coaching that can take you to the next level. They're also a Midwest dealer for Tony Kart and IAME, and they are your source for MG and Iveco tires in the region. They'll be trackside at the SCUSA Great Lakes Pro Kart Challenge, the USPKS, the USAC Battle of the Brickyard, and of course, the KRA Series at Newcastle Motorsports Park. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with the customer service that is second to none. Trinity Karting Group has a long history in the sport, a winning pedigree, and they're dedicated to driver development. They take pride in their professional approach and their positive attitude. Let them build a custom race program for you. Give them a call at 513-421-4463 or check them out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. If the dream is IndyCar, set your target on the road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. Our ladder system is designed to take drivers through 3 rungs of competition. The first step is the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship, which features a carbon tub Tatis chassis, 180 horsepower, and paddle shift sequential gearbox. Boost the USF 2000's output to 280 horsepower for the newly named Indy Pro 2000 program, the second rung of the road to Indy, formerly known as Pro Mazda. Add in increased grip and aero downforce, and the Tatis PM18 becomes an incredible racing machine. The final step before IndyCar is the Indy Lights Championship presented by Cooper Tires. The Dallara IL-15 boasts a whopping 450 horsepower. This car itself has helped train a third of the grid expected for the 2019 IndyCar Series. At all 3 levels, you race at premier venues on the same dance card as IndyCar. Showcase your skills under the watchful eyes of IndyCar scouts and owners. The program is unprecedented around the world, offering the opportunity to climb the ladder with over $2 million in scholarships to the champions in USF 2000, Indy Pro 2000, and Indy Lights. Former karters fill the roster of Road to Indy graduates in IndyCar like Spencer Piggott, Zach Beach, Jack Harvey, Ed Jones, Matthias Laced, Felix Rosenquist, Colton Herta, and 2018 Indy Lights champion Pato O'Ward. Recent graduates like Kyle Kirkwood are in the middle of their journeys right now as well. Follow in their footsteps. If you want to race IndyCar, there's only one choice. The Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires.
Located in Mooresville, North Carolina, on-site at GoPro Motorplex, Kart Sport North America features over 6,000 square feet of retail space. Along with being the official race team and distributor for the Kart Republic chassis, they offer full retail sales, kart service and storage, and products from the top brands in the sport, such as CZ Chain, Talon Sprockets, SKF bearings, and Prisma tire gauges. If you want to take your racing to the next level, they also offer driver training and coaching programs available trackside at GoPro Motorplex. They have a massive inventory, so head to their online store at kartsportna.com to get same-day shipping of the parts and components that you need. While you're there, check out their used section of karts, engines, parts, and accessories. Kart Sport North America. Top quality products, winning brands, and professional driver development services.
Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network. This is episode number 50 of the EKN Debrief, where we break down the most recent event that we've attended. David Cole, of course, trackside at the WKA Charlotte Karting Challenge at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, road racing, dirt, and what we're focusing on here now, the Manufacturers Cup in action in Concord. This is the Race Report segment of the podcast brought to you by Margay Racing. The whole show itself brought to you by Kart Republic. David, let's do the run through the final couple of categories. Mini Swift, Micro Swift, Briggs 206 Cadet, and Kid Kart. Let's get rolling with Micro Swift.
Mini Swift. Let's start with Mini Swift.
Pardon me, Mini Swift.
Was one of the categories that was rained out and saw a 2-heat race winner be declared the winner. Parker DeLong was able to win both heat races before the rains came and was declared the winner as he beat out top qualifier Sebastian NG with Adam Brickley rounding out the podium on Saturday. Sunday was Ben Mayer setting fast time in the qualifying session, but Sebastian NG came through to win the pre-final. Those two, along with DeLong, battled it out for the lead in a 3-kart battle for the victory, but it ended up being Ben Mayer who came across the line first, scoring the victory over Parker DeLong and Sebastian NG.
David, have a look at your notes here. 13 drivers in the Mini Swift field. Looks to me like Nitro Kart sweeping both of the podiums. Good outing for that crew.
Yeah, they had about 5 to 6, maybe even more garages set up there on the towards the end of the garage lane. Lots of karts there for Nitro team. Lots of podium results as well for them too throughout the weekend.
All right, let's move on to the Micro Swift category. We know the Nitros are pretty quick there as well. Yeah,
another Nitro sweep for both days. Excuse me. Saturday ended up being Spencer Conrad who was declared the winner in another rainout class. Conrad won both heat races and thus was declared the winner over Hoyt Moore and Aiden Patty. Carson Weinberg missing out on the podium, but did score fast time in qualifying. Sunday was Conrad up front once again, setting fast time in the qualifying session, but Aiden Patty came through to score the pre-final victory. Another last lap battle for the win ended up with Carson Weinberg sliding through for the victory, beating out Hoyt Moore and Aiden Patty for the victory. Conrad was leading up until the final few corners, and he was dropped to the 4th position as they crossed the line.
Ouch, all the way back to 4th.
Yeah, he was very visibly upset as he crossed the line. But again, another chess game with the way the course was laid out. So not leading on the final lap was not always the best position to be in.
Dave, the biggest category down at the Manufacturers Cup component of the Charlotte Karting Challenge at Charlotte Motor Speedway was Briggs 206 Cadet. 17 drivers in total.
Yeah, a number of drivers there. I believe they had some of the road racers move over from road racing to come over and race this category because there was a lot more competition and probably a lot more fun. But again, it was a nitro sweep both days. Parker DeLong set fast time in qualifying. Ben Mayer and Christopher McKeithen won both the heat races, but it ended up being Spencer Conrad scoring the most points. Oh, sorry. This race wasn't rained out. My mistake. It was first on track. So
update yourself.
Yep. So this race, again, another large lead group. But it was Spencer Conrad that was able to fight his way up to the point and score the victory ahead of Parker DeLong and McKeithen. Sunday, Ben Mayer was the top driver early on, setting fast time and beating everybody in the pre-final. But again, another last lap, last corner chess game ended up with Parker DeLong working past Ben Mayer for the victory. He brought Spencer Conrad and through with him as well to drop Mayer down to third after leading a majority of the race.
Always tough, those final battles, man. Like you said, the way the track looked at, I'm going to have to try to find some in-car camera stuff to watch it. But yeah, it sounds like you had to be in the right place at the right time if you wanted to win these races. That's for sure.
Well, it was funny. It's one of the onboard videos that I did saw was like, I forgot who posted it, but it was like a train sometimes. If you were hung out to dry, there was 4 to 5 or 6 carts that would go by you in a matter of moments, as you typically see in the drafting and road racing and, NASCAR style with Talladega. Sometimes you get left without the ticket and the train just pushes on by.
I like it. Like the reference. All right, let's wrap up the race report component of this episode of the debrief. Let's have a look at the kid karts. 13 drivers in total in the kid kart category.
Yep, the kid karts went on without any issues throughout the weekend. Again, they were very what's the word I'm looking for? Mature in the way they handled the big course. A lot of people were worried about not being able to see the entire course. Obviously, they had a number of officials at all the different points of the racetrack, making sure, all karts were visible in their sections.
Yep.
And the kid karts really kept things together, didn't do any silly moves or any, brain fades and go the wrong way or miss a corner or do anything like that. So it was really a successful weekend for the kid karters at what is a very challenging circuit that we were able to bring them to.
Nice. Well done for them. That's good.
Both main events were able to get in Saturday, especially before the rain, and both main events decided by thousandths of a second at the line.
Wow.
Adam Woolridge was able to score the victory on Saturday after winning both heat races and then held off Jacob Scheibel, the top qualifier, beating him out at the line by 93 thousandths at the line, with Colton McQuaid finishing up in the third position. Sunday began with Caleb Johnson setting fast time, but again, Jacob Scheibel was fast guy once again, winning the pre-final and then holding off Adam Woolridge at the line for the victory by 95 thousandths of a second, with Jordan I can't say it. Yep, can't
That's
say
a tough one.
Polchoplik. See, I don't think it's
Polchopik?
not, I don't know.
It's not. It's like Polchopik?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'm trying to think how Eric pronounces it, but now I can't think of it.
Always tough. We'll work on that. We'll get the phonetic spelling so we can do it correctly.
Polchopik.
Polchopik. There you go.
It sounds better.
Well, Jordan's getting lots of time, that's for sure.
Yeah, great podium finish for him. And again, Kid Carters did a great job throughout the weekend, making sure driving very mature for their age and keeping out of trouble.
Well, there it is, folks. That's the race report. David going through the 8 categories that were on track at the Charlotte Karting Challenge, the Manufacturers Cup component of the event that was held at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's wrap up. We do have a little wrap at the end, but let's have a quick look here at what's coming up on the EKN Trackside Live race calendar presented today by the Road to Indy. If the dream is IndyCar, set your target on the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. This unparalleled ladder system is designed to take drivers through 3 rungs of competition, beginning with USF 2000 and progressing through Indy Pro 2000 into Indy Lights. Along the way, each series champion receives a scholarship to race at the next level. If you want to race IndyCar, there's only one choice, the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. All right, David, EKN Trackside Live. I want to say we're in the middle of our kind of run, right? We got a couple of races here in July, big time through August, September, and October. But let's have a look. The next event, actually, it's me. I'm actually on the docket. You got like a month off. Good for you. Well, kind of a month off, because even though we can bring this up, it's not an EKN Trackside Live race. But dude, next weekend, not this one coming up, next weekend, Battle at the Brickyard. # beat David Cole.
Don't forget # beat Rob Howden.
Big numbers here in over 425 pre-entries for that race. So we're looking forward to getting to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But back to the EKN Trackside Live, I will be actually at the Texas Pro Kart Challenge event at the Amarillo Kart Circuit in West Texas. Amarillo, Texas, July 19, 2021. I'm going to do some racing. I'm going to run in 206 Masters. And Mark French and I, we're going to get our grill on, David. We're going to do some grilling.
I think that's the more important part of the event is watching you and Mark French work as a team behind a grill.
We're going to be doing some grilling. We've got some.
Now you're pretty aggressive. I mean, that your driving style is not aggressive, but when you're behind the grill, you are aggressive.
Yeah, I am.
You're almost like a Lewis Hamilton behind.
It's my grill, man. It is my grill. Yeah, I'm the Lewis.
So I'm wondering with Mark French becoming a race director, how he's going to be able to handle that.
I think
is he going to sit back and let the magic happen, or is he going to try and get in there and do his own thing?
I think we'll work well together. I think we'll both be popping the beers off the top of the Coronas, and we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be great.
Well, maybe he could handle the beverage portion of it.
I love it. Yeah, so we're going to do some grilling. We're going to have a good time. It's the Texas Pro Kart Challenge, rounds number 3 and 4 of the series, July 19, 2021. Come and join us at the Amarillo Kart Circuit in Texas. The track that is based, it's like a miniature version of the F1 circuit in Istanbul, Turkey, which I think is awesome. Great track there. After that, David, you're back on track. You are July 26, 27, 28, the place that you go to a half a dozen times a year. You're going to Newcastle Motorsports Park, end of July with the USPKS.
My home away from home. I haven't been there yet this year that I think of. I don't know. Not that I recall. But yeah, Newcastle Motorsports Park for the United States Pro Kart Series Hoosier Grand Prix. They will have their final 2 rounds of the championship series and crown their champions Sunday evening. You're
there 4 times, right? USPKS, WKA Man Cup, SCUSA, and then we go for the Cup Karts North America event.
Yes, 4 times. That sounds about normal that I can recall, because we normally used to go to the Robopong, but we haven't done that in a few years. So that was typically like the fourth time visiting there. The Man Cup went there twice, so I think it might have been 5 times one year. So yeah, it's become my second half of the summer home.
No doubt about that. We should probably just buy you like a nice travel trailer and leave it there for you. You just got.
Yeah. Well, hey, I've been to Charlotte now 3 times in 2019. Wow. So I need a home in Charlotte, I need a home in Indy, and then I have my home here. That would probably be a perfect.
So David's at the USPKS race there at Newcastle on July 26, 27, 28. 2 weeks later, he and I are both there for the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals, the finale of the SCUSA Pro Tour. We'll see who wins the national plates. That's again August 9th, 10th, and 11th. Those are the 3 upcoming EKN Trackside Live events. Again, the Road to Indy, presenting our Trackside Live race calendar for this episode of the Debrief. All right, David.
And we'll be seeing a new racetrack as well, too, that weekend. That's
true. SuperKarts USA dropping a new track layout for the event. Something pretty interesting. Should be it'll be unique for sure. David, let's wrap up this edition of the Debrief as we always do. Let's have a look at the Constructors' Championship breakdown.
Well, as we talked about during the race recap, Nitro Kart had a number of podium sweeps and number of victories, earning 6 on the weekend. Kart Republic followed them with 3, including 2 by Matthew Dunkovich, and then again the first victory for Sebastian Rivas. Tyler Wettingell was able to clock in 2 victories for the FA Kart, while Comp Kart, Tony Kart, Top Kart, Burrell Art, and Emick each took home a victory. So we had a total of, the Kid Kart, the Emick Kid Kart. He continues, Jacob Scheibel continues to carry the Emick brand here on the East Coast.
I love it. That's awesome. That is awesome. Next event for you, David, with the WK Manufacturers Cup. You're heading up to Wolf Paving Raceway, Dousman, August 23rd, 24th, 25th. Back with the Man Cup again.
Yep, it will be rounds, let me see, 7 and 8. Nope, I got that wrong. See, I don't even know what event that will be.
Dude, you're the math major. Yeah, well, there's so many races. You
Daytona, GoPro. Oh, nope. It'll be rounds 9 and 10.
There you
I'm mistaken. I forgot the Road America event. So
There you go.
it'll be rounds 9 and 10 of the 12-round championship program. Again, Dousman, Wisconsin, home of the Badger Kart Club.
There it is, folks. We wrapped it up. Episode 50, a little landmark and a milestone for us here. 50 different episodes of the EKN Debrief. Big thanks to David Cole for joining us again. Again, my name is
Matches
Rob.
your age.
What's that?
It matches your age.
Wow. Wow.
Maybe it'll match the position you finish when I beat you.
See, here, this is it. Going into the race this weekend is fantastic because
if there's 50 guys in Briggs Masters, that is the position you're going to finish.
I am not going to finish 50th. The key is when I do beat you, when hashtag beat David Cole, when I beat you, you'll have been beaten by a guy 10 years older than you. How's that going to feel? You know, Alicia actually said that I should almost let you win so you won't be a bitch all night when we're grilling at the Airbnb.
As long as I get the checkered flag, I'll be happy.
Till you get to the checkered flag, that's it?
Yeah. I haven't done that in almost 2 years because I did finish Rock Island. That's right.
You do have some trouble. Rock Island,
I just didn't finish where I wanted to. So
no. Well, that happened last time that you and I raced head to head when I kicked your ass at Rock Island.
Fast lap. Remember, fast lap.
You were a faster lap, but who cares? I was in a pack.
Chicks dig the fast lap.
Dude, I was in a pack battling it out with Skitchy Bards and Cal Stewart. Who were you racing
Those
with?
are nobodies.
Yourself?
Cal Stewart was a nobody then.
Those are Rock Island Grand Prix winners.
I don't even think the Bermuda guy had his rock by then either too. So they were nobodies by that time.
You know the difference between Cal Stewart, you, and Skitchy Barnes? They have rocks.
I was to say it's about
even
9 rocks, I think.
Even I have a rock.
You Lifetime Achievement Award. Come on.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, folks, it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, a couple weeks from now, David Cole and I going head to head. Yes, I'm 50 years old. Yes, he's 40 years old. And the old man is going to try to beat the young buck.
We need signs. We need posters. We need everything supporting hashtag beat Rob Howden.
I think most people are more in the would like to see you get beat. I think I'm feeling that's the feeling. How's it feel to you?
Nice.
How does it feel?
Nice guys finish last.
How does it feel, David, to have most people rooting against you?
I love it. It fuels the fire. I'm ready to go. Well, that's why I went out and mowing the yard yesterday, man. I gotta get ready.
It doesn't work for the University of Michigan, so I don't know.
It will tonight when we win College World Series.
There it is. All right, folks, we're wrapping up this edition of the EKN Debrief. Again, David Cole down at the WK Charlotte Karting Challenge. Obviously, the first time that they were able to get that event going. Obviously, looking to go back to the drawing board and make some tweaks, do whatever they can to make that second edition of the event an even better one. Big thank you to WK for always having us out there at those events. Thank you to Kevin Williams and the whole crew there. David Cole, well done. Folks, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.